Imagine a man, his face hidden behind an eerie mask, lurking in the shadows. Who is this masked man, and what is his story? This is a chilling enigma that has captivated and terrified many. With every passing second, the mystery of this man deepens, like a foggy night that engulfs all in its path. His mask, an inscrutable symbol of concealment, hides more than just his physical features. It's a shield that guards a labyrinth of secrets, a myriad of questions unanswered. Is he a phantom, a mere figment of our collective fear, or does he truly exist? If he exists, what does he want? Is he a friend, a foe, or perhaps something much more sinister? The ambiguity shrouds him, making him an enigma that is both fascinating and frightening. Let us delve into the dark tale of the masked man and uncover the secrets that lie beneath his mask. Our story begins in a small isolated town, where the arrival of a stranger in a mask sets the locals on edge. Nestled amidst sprawling woods and a winding river, the town thrives in peaceful obscurity, a place where time seems to stand still. The silence of the town is broken only by the occasional chatter of the townsfolk and the rustling of the leaves in the gentle breeze. But this tranquility is about to be disrupted. One ordinary day, a stranger arrives. His appearance is anything but ordinary. His face is concealed behind a mask, an eerily intriguing spectacle that's impossible to ignore. His arrival is like a stone dropped in the placid lake of this town's routine, sending ripples of unease and curiosity through the community. Who is he? Why is he here? And why, oh why, does he wear that mask? The questions multiply and hang heavy in the air, like a mist that refuses to lift. The townsfolk exchange whispers, their eyes following the masked man's every move, their hearts echoing with a sense of dread they can't quite articulate. The local baker, a stout woman known for her hearty laughter and warm, comforting pies, falls silent at his sight. The town's barber, a man of many stories and an ever-ready grin, can't shake off the shivers that course through him. Even the children, usually so full of life and laughter, feel a shadow of unease creep into their play. The masked man, oblivious or perhaps indifferent to the stir he has caused, continues his solitary existence. His presence a constant reminder of the unknown. His mask, a stark contrast to the familiar faces, becomes a symbol of the lurking fear, the unsettling mystery that has consumed the town. The arrival of the masked man disrupts the rhythm of life, turning the ordinary into extraordinary, the familiar into strange, and the peaceful into ominous. His presence has transformed the town, casting a long, dark shadow over the once tranquil place. But little did they know, the masked man was only the beginning of their troubles. As days turned into weeks, a series of unsettling events began to unfold in the town. The once peaceful and quaint town was now a stage for a spectacle of eerie happenings. It all began with small, seemingly insignificant items disappearing from homes. From trinkets to time-worn heirlooms, nothing was safe from the invisible hands that seemed to be at play. The townsfolk, initially dismissive, began to murmur in worry as the pattern of these thefts grew more and more apparent. As if the pillaging of personal belongings wasn't enough, the town was soon plagued by unexplained noises. They were not the usual sounds of the night, the hoot of an owl or the rustle of the wind. No, these were sounds that made the hair stand on end, a chilling laughter that echoed in the dead of the night, the snap of a twig under a heavy boot, the sharp knock on a window when everyone was fast asleep. It was as if the town was under the watchful eyes of an unseen entity, but the strangest of all were the sightings. The townsfolk spoke in hushed tones of a figure, tall and ominous, always lurking in the shadows. The figure was cloaked in darkness, but there was one feature that was unmistakable. A mask, as white as bone, devoid of any expression. This figure, this masked man, was seen at all hours, always at the edge of one's vision, disappearing as quickly as he appeared. The unsettling events escalated, the tension palpable in the once serene town. Whispers turned into fearful chatter, and soon the chatter turned into a chorus of terror. The townsfolk, once neighbors, now looked at one another with suspicion and dread. The sense of community that once bound them was replaced by the cold chains of fear. The masked man, a mere shadow in the periphery, had now become the center of their nightmares. As fear gripped the town, the masked man became the prime suspect. One brave soul, The town's sheriff decided to confront the masked man. With a heart beating like a drum, the sheriff stepped forward, the weight of the town's fear heavy on his shoulders. He was a man of the law, a beacon of hope in the face of the unknown, yet even he felt a sliver of fear creeping into his veins. It wasn't the fear of death, no. It was the fear of the unknown, the fear of what the masked man represented. "Who are you?" the sheriff demanded, his voice echoing through the eerily silent town square. The masked man stood still, as if carved from stone, the mystery behind the mask remaining unbroken. The sheriff tried again. "What do you want?" The masked man tilted his head slightly, a gesture that felt more chilling than any spoken words. The sheriff, not one to back down, raised his voice. "Answer me." The masked man remained silent. His response, or rather the lack of it, seemed to echo louder than any words could have. The silence was deafening, the tension palpable. It was as if time itself had come to a standstill, holding its breath in anticipation of the masked man's response. Yet the masked man's silence continued, as cryptic and enigmatic as the man himself. His silence wasn't just a lack of words. It was a statement, a chilling affirmation of his mysterious presence. It was as if he was declaring, "I am here, and I am not going anywhere." The sheriff, in a final attempt, reached out to the masked man. "We can help you, let us help you." The masked man made no move to respond, his silence reverberating through the quiet town square, wrapping the town in a blanket of fear. In the face of the masked man's silence, the town's fear transformed into terror. The confrontation hadn't ended with a bang, but with a silence so profound it was deafening. The masked man's silence spoke louder than any words could have. It was a chilling reminder that fear, often, is not born of the known, but of the unknown. The climax of our tale arrives when the masked man, cornered and outnumbered, decides to reveal his true face. A chilling silence descends upon the space. The air, thick with anticipation and fear, seems to hold its breath. The moment is here, the moment when the enigma is finally unveiled. With trembling hands, the man reaches for the mask that has so long concealed his identity. It's an eerie sight. The masked figure under the harsh, unforgiving spotlight. The mask, an emblem of terror and intrigue, is slowly, painstakingly removed. It's as if time itself has slowed to a crawl, every second stretching into an eternity. As the mask comes off, an audible gasp escapes the crowd. It's not the monstrous visage they were expecting. No, quite the contrary. A face, worn and weary, but unmistakably human, stares back at them. It's a face that tells a story of pain and endurance, of survival against all odds. A face that has seen too much, suffered too much. The masked man's eyes, once hidden behind the terrifying mask, now reveal a world of sorrow. They are the eyes of a man who has been pushed to the brink, who has been forced to hide behind a terrifying facade. They are the eyes of a man who has been misunderstood, feared, and hunted. The revelation sends a wave of shock throughout the crowd. The masked man, the embodiment of their deepest fears, is not a monster. He is just a man who had been cornered, targeted, and driven to the edge. A man who had chosen to wear a mask not to instill fear, but to protect himself from a world that had turned against him. And so, the truth is laid bare. The masked man was not the villain they feared, but a victim of circumstance. A poignant reminder of how quick we are to judge, to fear, to condemn. A call to look beyond the mask, to see the person underneath. Because sometimes, the true horror lies not in the mask, but in the story behind it. In the aftermath of the revelation, the town is left to deal with its own fear and prejudice. The once bustling streets are now silent, a stark contrast to the cacophony of accusations and suspicions that once filled the air. The townspeople, each in their own way, grapple with a newfound sense of remorse. They had allowed fear to cloud their judgment, to transform a stranger into a monster. The masked man, an enigma that had held their imaginations captive, was simply a man. His fate, however, was sealed by their hasty judgments. As the dust settles, the townspeople are left to reflect on their actions, the choices they made, and the consequences they now bear. The masked man's tale is more than a chilling saga. It is a mirror reflecting their own fears and prejudices. In the end, the masked man's story serves as a chilling reminder. Sometimes, the real horror lies not in the unknown, but in our own assumptions and fears.